Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Good
Shalom.
evening.
Bye-bye.
We are so happy to see all of you, either here in person or with us virtually, as we welcome Shabbat this chilly autumn evening. We are going to begin our service, as we always do, with Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, how good it is that all of us are here together. We're going to welcome Shabbat and each other with warmth and light as we light our Shabbat candles together. I want to ask if there's anyone who would like to light the Shabbat candles this evening. Anyone like to do it? Yeah, absolutely. Come on up. Natalie, Kat, and Ira. This is so exciting. What? We're finally going to do it. Thank you, Kat, Natalie, and Ira. We are so happy to have you be a part of our community. Let's take a moment and also welcome each other this Shabbat evening. If you'd like to turn to someone you know, even better, someone you don't know, and say Shabbat Shalom, we will gather back together in just a moment. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Nick. How are you doing? Let's continue reading together either on page 3 or right up here on our slides. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Amen. We'll continue singing together with Lachad Odi, welcoming the Sabbath bride. Please keep on singing with us.
גם בשמחה ובצוהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך
Let's read together. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We'll continue singing together with Baruch Hu, asking ourselves if we are awake. Hopefully by now, it's 6:30 p.m. Hopefully by now we're awake. But perhaps like that beautiful poem before, our senses are awake? Are we ready to receive the gift of wholeness and rest this Shabbat? What perhaps may we need from these next 24 hours that we can soak in? So we'll sing together, Am I Awake? And you are welcome to please rise. Seated, and perhaps like me, you are grateful for the fall and autumn and the nights getting a little bit chillier, and the days too as we head into a Halloween weekend as well. So our prayer Ma'ariv Aravim, we celebrate the evening and our appreciation for nature and the changing seasons. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. We'll continue in English. You are the creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ha-ma'ariv aravim. We're going to continue together singing Ahavat Olam with this beautiful melody by Debbie Friedman.
Amcha ושוקבנו, ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם עד. כי חיים חיינו, ואורך ימינו, והם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. באהבתך תסיר, ממנו לעולמי. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
We invite you, if you are able, to please rise as we affirm God's oneness with Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech u'shokbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiyot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. As we now approach Milchamocha, our prayer of gratitude and freedom, we'd love to hear if there's something you're thankful for on this Shabbat. If you are joining us virtually, you're welcome to share in the comments. And if you're here, if you'd like to share something, I'm going to come around with a mic with a mask on. Is there anyone who would like to share?
Louder.
Yeah, there's a blue one up here too. Try now. Does it work now? Does it work now? Is it working? It's working. Yay. Thank you, Ange.
I now have a list. I am so happy that I have a functioning microphone, and I'm indoors, and I am warm, and I am dry, and it's so nice to be back in the synagogue, and I have a family that's fully vaccinated. My wife is been vaccinated last night, so she is not feeling under the weather because of it. But I'm happy she's vaccinated too.
I just got my third COVID shot. So I'm happy that they're out there.
Fully boosted.
Definitely glad the boosters are out there. Anyone else? Oh, anyone else have any other ones? Okay.
I have too many to share, but I'll share just one. So I was on a trip recently to Sedona and had this amazing experience at one of the summit points where you can see the entire Mund Wilderness Range. It's just stunning. So I'm staring and I'm looking at there, and then I see this couple sitting on a rock. It's my next door neighbor from Columbus. Okay, what? So that was the first of 3 synchronicity moments, and if you want more, come see me later.
Amazing. Thanks, Nick. We've got some great, some folks have shared also on Facebook. Miriam shares, thankful that we successfully moved her aunt from her independent living to a new assisted living apartment this week. Miriam, that's great. And Adlai shares, thankful for the opportunity to create an affordable, intentional community for women, which is so, so awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. As we celebrate that gratitude together, we'll sing together Mi Chamocha, page 40, or on our slides.
Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neheda b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oseh fele, nora tehilot, oseh fele. Yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye bye. Adonai Eloch leolam vaed, leolam leolam vaed. Yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bidi bum bum bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye, yom bye bye bye.
We're going to keep on singing together with Vishamru.
Yes,
We're now going to continue with Amidah with our standing prayer, starting with Adonai Sifatai. I invite you, if you're able, to please rise. Adonai Sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Kaneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Milchamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midom Melach, Melech Memit, U'Mechaye, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We're going to continue with a few moments of silent prayer. If you have a prayer book, you can use either pages 54 to 60, or regardless, you may use whatever words may be in your own heart this Shabbat evening.
Shalom bimromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. V'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So this week, either last night or Sunday night, depending on where you are in Columbus, we're celebrating Halloween, one of personally my favorite secular holidays. As a child, I remember the excitement of dressing up in a costume, walking in my neighborhood with my brother and our friends, surrounded by other groups as the night became darker, and of course, the thrill of knocking on doors and getting free candy, and eating way too much of it after getting home. As an adult, though, I might like Halloween even more. Last night, we had plenty of cute kids come onto our porch. They were dressed as ninjas, Iron Man, we got a Leslie Knope, and of course, a couple dressed as Paw Patrol. And they either shyly walked up to us and said, "Trick or treat," or they boldly stuck their hands in the candy basket to see how many candy bars they could get away with. And many of them were smart enough to avoid the milk duds, which we have way too many of now this evening.
Bring them to me.
Oh, great, excellent. I know exactly who to give them to. Of course, Halloween is best known for being a holiday of spooky, scary fun. As a young child, I have plenty of fun on Halloween, but there was also occasionally some fear as it got darker outside, maybe saw a scary costume. And I was also pretty nervous to knock on a stranger's door that didn't have any decorations out front, not knowing who would answer or if they would even be angry at us for disturbing them. So often fear, whether it's being afraid of the dark, a new experience, or something else, is connected with the unknown. Halloween and most of the horror genre capitalizes on what's lurking around the corner, a mysterious disease or creature plaguing the town, or a monster that hides in the darkness until the very end. The unknown can be uncomfortable or even frightening for children and adults alike. And for the last 19 months of the pandemic, we've all been navigating a giant unknown together. One of our champions for stepping into the unknown is our matriarch, Rebecca, who enters the Genesis narrative in this week's Torah portion, Chai Sarah. Abraham's servant Eliezer is searching for a wife for Abraham's son Isaac, and he takes a rest from his travels at a well, which was a community gathering place back in ancient times. Unprompted, Rebecca does a kindness for Eliezer, a complete stranger, bringing him water to drink and water for all of his camels, too. Eliezer immediately recognizes Rebecca's proactiveness and her kindness and asks her family if Rebecca would be interested in meeting Isaac. Now, Rebecca's father could have just said yes, and Rebecca would have to go with Eliezer. That's how it worked in ancient times. But instead, her family gives Rebecca the opportunity to choose. Rebecca says yes, and she eventually meets Isaac and they get married. She is one of the only women in the Bible who actively chooses to leave home into the unknown and marry her spouse. Later, when Rebecca experiences a painful pregnancy, she demands an answer from God. God responds with a prophecy of sorts, saying, "Two nations are in your womb. One people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger." Now, this last line is interesting in the Hebrew, L'rav ya'avod sa'ir. It's almost always translated as, "the older shall serve the younger." But as my teacher, Dr. Tamara Eskenazi, shares, in Hebrew, sometimes the subject and the object switch. So this can mean the younger shall serve the older, or the older shall serve the younger. It was up to Rebecca to decide how to interpret this prophecy. And as we see later, not only does she make her own interpretation happen, she completely changes the course of her family and the Torah's narrative. Rebecca is our model for being fearless in the face of the unknown. She isn't perfect by far, but she bravely steps into the circumstances she has been given and works with them to the best of her abilities. Rebecca focuses on what she can do instead of what's out of her control. We can't totally control our circumstances, and a lot is unknown in life, especially right now. We acknowledged just a month ago during the High Holy Days in our Unatana Tokef prayer this feeling. But Rebecca reminds us that we can hold true to our values and our relationships with one another. We can acknowledge what we can't control and how painful that can be sometimes. But we can also choose to exert our energy where we can make choices. And like Rebecca, those choices can hugely impact our families and our communities. And surprisingly, Halloween also reminds us of that balance. Even though the pandemic might mean we have to stand a little further away from each other, perhaps wear masks in addition to our costumes, what really matters is connecting with our kids and our neighbors. I would like to think that Mr. Fred Rogers loved Halloween. Last night during trick or treating, I think one of the most meaningful parts of the evening was offering candy to neighbors passing by who weren't dressed up, one of whom was very confused that trick-or-treating was happening on the 28th, and even a delivery person who brought us an Amazon package got some candy too. Even though Halloween is a kid's holiday that certainly drives candy sales, it's also a powerful reminder that we are all here for each other. So as we continue to navigate this time together, there may be, and certainly are, a lot of unknowns still ahead. I hope celebrating Halloween gives us a reprieve from the weight of the pandemic, a chance to reconnect with each other, and the comfort of knowing that not only do we have a lot in our control, our community is here to help us face the unknown together. Shabbat Shalom. One of the many ways that our community can be here for one another is for those in our community who are in need of healing of body, mind, and spirit. As we read these names, and if you'd like to also share names of folks who are in need of healing, I want to also suggest that perhaps after services we can reach out to some of these folks, let them know that we're thinking of them, and that we're here to support them how we can through their healing. That's how we make Misha Berach come alive in a way, how we actualize this prayer. This evening, we are praying for the healing of Catherine Adler, Marcia Ames, Marilyn Altman, Lynn Adams, Abby Bates, and Sarah Bates, Deborah Belford, Barbara Belford, Marjorie Block, Paul Branson, Lee Budin, Jack Cashman, Dave Sidarquest, Dorothy Cohen, Rob Cohen, Lily Kovitz, Adrian Crawford, Rick Crawford, Taya Delano, Tony Diegler, Carrie Ebert, Phil Edelsberg, Elaine Ellick, Michael Fiorelli, Rachel Fish, Hilda Glazer, Olivia Glick, Jean Goldberg, Jimmy Green, David Haas, David Hirsch, Don Kerr, Peter Levy, Barb Lucas, Byron McGee, Angel Marrero, Fred Martin, Minna Melton, Connie Minarovic and David Minarovic, Caleb Moses, Dorothy Muncie, Dick Nettleman, Robert Oakley, Nick Parisi, Aaron Phelan, Ian Phillips, Aaron Plosko, Rashi Prostowski, Jessica Rathkopf, William J. Reese, Barry Richmond, Zachary Rowe, Emma Rose, Irving Rose, Jeremy Rikus, June Sahara, Rolf Sauer, Susan Shermer, Barbara Schuster, Richard Scher, Lou Supowitz, Greg Vinoker, Robert Weiss, Maddie Weiss. We're also thinking of, let me make sure I get all of these, Harlow Nemeth, Bill Fultz, Pete Bowman, Dr. Roger Rubin and Ron Bragg, Andrew Morales, Zach Bassinger, Rachel Korn, Alan Mishkin, Jenny Williams, Richard Baer, Jeremy Ritter, Kay Friedman, Linda L. Fuller, Sheila Richards, Steve Hartstein. I want to ask if anyone else would like to share a name with our community of those whose healing we're praying for. We'll sing our Misha Berach prayer together.
Source of strife, who bless the ones before us.
begin our concluding prayers with Aleinu L'Shabeach, and I invite you, if you are able, to please rise. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Tekenu L'Yotzei Breshit, Shelo Sanekegayei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kimishpechot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegora Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Koim, Umisakavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hayom Hahu, Yihei Adonai Echad, Ushemo Echad. I was very off key, I apologize. We're going to remain standing as our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We're thinking of those in our community whom we're remembering, whom we've lost within the last 30 days, and are observing Shloshim for Molly Birnbaum, Alan Dubrow, Joe Ermel, Don Feibel, and Arlene Feit. We're recalling those as well whom we lost at this season and in years past. We remember Edith Bleiweiss, Hal Borovets, Walter Bugenstein, Rhea Cohen, Ronald Cohn, Troy Feibel, Abraham Heim, Edith Hill, Elaine Jaffe, Glenn Kleinman, Jesse Cutel, Sylvia Leverant, Michael Loengart, Benjamin Minkin, Marion Partridge, Charles Ravitsky, Ernst Rothschild, Arlene Sachs, Louis Sapadin, Shayla Savage, Joseph Shapiro, Arnold Spolter, and Jean Stepp. I want to invite if anyone else would like to share a name of someone whom they're remembering this evening. For them and for those of no one left to say Kaddish for them, we'll recite together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Chirutei v'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman Kari v'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Le'alam Ulalmei Almaya, Yit Barach v'yishtabach v'yit Par v'yit Romam v'yit Naseh, v'yit Hadar v'yit Alev v'yit Halal Shemei Dekudisha Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May each of their memories before a blessing. Let us say amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Now I'd like to call up our Executive Director, Bobby Kovitz, for some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, and for those of you at home. If you'd like to start your weekend off with some worship and Torah study, there will be a Zoom service tomorrow at 10 o'clock via Zoom, and you can find the link in the e-window. If you would like to test your luck on All Hallows Eve, the men's club is meeting for poker at 7 o'clock here at the temple on Sunday. Next Friday, the weather finally looks like it's going to clear out for us, and it's going to be dry next week, so we can actually be back outside. It's going to be perfectly chilly fall weather next Friday. So wear a sweatshirt. We're going to have campfires. We're going to have heaters, and it's going to be third grade Camp Shabbat, so it's going to be great. We're going to have s'mores, and we're just going to have a good time and be back outside together. November 12th is Veterans Shabbat. That will be a virtual service. If you'd like to submit any pictures for the program, the deadline to do that is Monday. So if you have any pictures of loved ones that you would like to submit as part of the program, please email our marketing director, Amanda Cohen, at acohen@tbsohio.org. Is there anything else you want to add, Rabbi?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, have a great weekend. Shove lots of candy into your face. And thank you for making TBS your Jewish home. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobby. We'll continue with Kiddush. Is there anyone who wants to take this? You don't like Manischewitz, do you? Oh, yeah, no, that's all good. That's all good. It's okay. I'll take it this evening. That's all good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. So great.
Eat a candy chaser.
Ugh. I'm gonna put my mask on so I'm not singing over the challah maskless. Right, actually, I think we have, if there's any kids in the congregation who want to come up and get first dibs at the challah. No, that's okay. You can get first dibs after we sing together. That's okay. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is sung. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Amen. Anyone is welcome to grab some of that. And our closing song for this evening is, I don't need to sing, what am I doing? Is Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. May peace and wholeness come to all of us and to the world.
Shalom Aleinu, Otivo 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 Shalom Shalom Aleinu, Otivo Shalom Aleinu, Otivo Shalom Aleinu, Otivo Shalom Shalom Aleinu, Otivo Shalom Aleinu, Otivo Shalom Aleinu,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, everyone.